heart of the fight. Shifting gears till the edge feels right. Start 'em up, hear the engines cry. Let the thunder roll, leave no doubt. All or nothing when the checkers come out. Doors beating doors in an all-out fight. This is a Moonshiners Wednesday night. Wednesday night! Legends born in the heat of the fight. Trading pain under stadium lights. Racing roots run deep here. We're racing on a Moonshiners Wednesday night. Every track has a story to tell. Every wall has been one driver's hell. Back in the saddle we go. Ring the bell like a moonshiner. We're riding on rails. Checkers all records. Send it in, set sail. Legends born in the heat of the fight. Trading pain under stadium lights. Racing roots run deep here. We're racing on a Moonshiners Wednesday night. This is 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 a Moonshiners Wednesday night.
Tonight, the Moonshiners Racing League gets set to turn left and right. As tonight, the GMD Janitorial Cup Series visits Watkins Glen International for tonight's coverage of the Impact Sim Designs 200 at the Glen. And it's all here on Precision Entertainment. I'm Justin Pritzel. On some of the booth for tonight is Jeremy Miller for this evening's coverage. Also joined by Zach Case, who is our pit road reporter and doing socials tonight. Ryan Bauer is our producer this evening, with cameras provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Tonight, what's counted down to green, Jeremy, as this evening we look to do battle here at the Glen. Tonight should be an interesting one, where some of the top drivers are going to be tested, to say the very least here, Jeremy. How do you feel about New York State?
Yeah, I mean, it's a high-speed, badass racetrack, Justin. A lot of momentum going to be rolling all night long, these high-speed twisting corners. A couple technical spots with the bus stop and through the last couple turns in turn one, but we're going to see some hard racing. We'll be clean and green all the way through besides our two scheduled yellows, and we should see a pretty good result of the show because of that.
We're coming up into the middle portion of the schedule pretty soon, because so far we have had a lot of races. That in particular has seen us to the first third, if you will, but the All-Star race next week. This, the last race before said All-Star race at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's going to get interesting by the time we get to the San Diego schedule slot, because obviously that's not in the sim at the moment. But for the most part, it's pretty standard of what you would expect via the Cup schedule, and the Glen going to be a challenge before we get up towards the holiday weekend coming up, Jeremy.
Yeah, definitely gonna, see some time off because of that. And then, as you mentioned, All-Star race at Charlotte does make me a little sad. Justin, Dover being my home track, one of my favorite racetracks. Seeing it getting purged across the board right now in the racing world, which is never fun. But the mile and a half is an undeniably great product with this race car now. So looking forward to a pretty good stretch of racing after we get out of Watkins Glen.
Keep in mind, Brandon Bowie's got the point standings involving the Impact Sim Designs Chase. He's got 4 win stickers. He and Alex Murray, some of the contenders expected tonight to add more to them with the road course prowess. Some of the others to keep an eye on, Rory Moore, hearing he's fast. Once those in the top 10 of the points. 212 points, the big separation, though. Some of the drivers in the top 8 alone. Kenny Reel, though, for now, is up 6 on the cut, Jeremy.
Yeah, cut's still tight, and, you know, it's really getting into those summer months. This is where you're going to really see who's going to stick and who's going to struggle to make that playoffs in the end of the season. So I think you're looking at your top 10 right there, like Blaine Wilson, Chris Davis, right around there. Those are the guys who are feeling pretty comfortable right now heading into the summer. They just need to be consistent, not make mistakes throughout the course. Everybody above them is in really good shape.
Let's talk about the race in of itself, as we aren't using the boot, keep in mind, here tonight, but we are using the normal layout for what we've seen here for NASCAR in real life for many years now. This layout can get as high as 2.4 miles. This track, in turn, about 7 turns, depending on how you measure it. Remember, at one point, hosted the F1 US GP and was known for being a party house. And while last week was known for being a mud house, this weekend should produce some great racing here at the very least, with some of the wildness we may see mid-pack, Jeremy.
Yeah, we'll actually see even more wild racing than we saw in real life, because we're not going to have those tire bundles coming out of the outer loop or out of turn 1. So we're going to see these guys using all that runoff space like we were accustomed to seeing in the past in NASCAR.
With that in mind, it's time to take a look at your pole award, brought to you by Victory Design. Your Victory Design's pole award tonight should be a surprise. It's Alex Murray that sets it. He's known for the road course speed. He'll pace with Brandon Bowie alongside. It was 4/10 the difference for the pole. Matt Cox and Sean Rogers will be part of your top 4 here tonight. They're in row number 2. Kyle Holden starts in row 3 with Brandon Fitter placed down in 6. Corey Moore will be in the next group of drivers you see in 7th. It'll be Chris Cornett looking to try and move from 8th. Timothy Harper starts 9th and Paul Gallimore in the top 10.
Awesome man, Barry Sanders going to roll up 11th. He's sneaky good at the road courses, but look at that gap of time. Catalano almost a second slower there in P12. Rolling off 13th tonight is going to be the 38 of Blake Hochschild, and the 18 of Blaine Wilson is going to start on his outside. 15th is going to be Jim Treat in the 6th, joined by William Owens in the 30. 17th rolling off tonight is going to be Mark Sanchez in the 29, and Kenny Reel, who we just mentioned, is on that cut line, rolls off 18th. And rounding out our top 20 are Johnny Shade and Jose Medina.
21st. That's Matt Metler, who's the last to take a time tonight. We had a lot of people not take qualifying times this evening. Matt Metler in front of Nico Garcia, Chris Davis, Alex Coffey, Trevor Ashwinoff, Chris Vincent, Braden Donaldson, Greg Carr, Hunter Carmichael, Nigel Christensen, Nick Kane. How they line up. Kane with Tekka shoes. But it's a hot racetrack here tonight at the Glen, and we should be thinking about the fuel mileage per se, maybe in stage 1 and 2 to keep in mind here tonight, because those first 2 stages are only 20 laps apiece. 42 for the final stage, though. Gonna be a little bit more tighter on gas.
Yeah, they can't make it to the end in that final stage. They'll definitely make it through these first 2 stages of fuel fine. It's just gonna be a question of strategy for tires and points as to whether or not they will make stops during these stages before those scheduled cautions.
And we'll have to make sure some of the drivers are able to avoid the incident points. 17, remember, drive through 25 DQ. That will be relevant here tonight for some of the drivers this evening at Watkins Glen. EOL penalty for Brandon Donaldson from various incidents piled up over the past few weeks. But it's a good chance to go down pit side. Zach, I believe you were excited about the Glen this past weekend. After all, this is your home state.
I mean, Justin, I'm just 2 hours up north from Watkins Glen, and I was able to take the ride down this past weekend to a muddy campground on track and on facility, and was able to work around the garage, get really up close and personal with some of these Cup drivers, ARCA drivers, Xfinity drivers, even the trucks this past weekend. But I think the biggest thing with this track, and as Jeremy stated earlier on, it's a fast one. There's a lot of high intensity moments, but there's also a lot of braking zones that drivers can take advantage of, especially going to the bus stop, into turn 1, maybe even turn 6. And if you set yourself up for a good entry into turn 7, you're going to have a great run down the front stretch. So I'm very excited to see how these drivers do. I think the inner loop is one of the best places in all of NASCAR motorsports. So we'll see what the drivers do here tonight, and we'll see if the road course ringers come to play.
Absolutely here indeed. So, before we get going into our other notables, I'd like to remind you that tonight's action is brought to you in part by Top It Off Hot Sauce Company. Receive 15% off your entire order at topitoffsauce.com using the code MRL15. Once again, MRL15 to be able to get a discount on your entire order of hot sauce to have revved up flavor and heat. So with that in mind here, as we get set to go here for your first stage, thoughts, Jeremy, as we get pacing around? I believe we'll have an extra pace lap here.
Yeah, we do have one more coming. The lights are still on the pace car, but it's going to be about keeping the car clean, keeping it straight all night, keeping yourself on track. We saw a lot of dirt on the track right now on their pace laps. Everybody weaving, cleaning up those tires, so don't want to get those tires dirty and make a mistake. There's not a lot of grip to be had here with how high the pace is. We've heard drivers in the past refer to this place as racing almost like a mile and a half set of road course. Right now on board with Alex Coffey, you can see some of that dirt kicking up from the cars in front of him. Not a clean racetrack right now, so that can make the start of this race really hairy.
A few people on the radio absolutely going to be talking about that one, but who do you feel will be the fastest tonight and why, in your opinion?
I mean, Murray's on pole for a reason with the lap he ran. I mean, he's a really good road racer. I think this place fits into what makes him such a good road racer, even more than some of the others. He has that go-kart racing background, Justin, and, you know, so much of that is just high speeds, you know, really fine inputs and not making mistakes to keep that speed out of the corners down the straightaways, and I think that's just where he excels really well, and this track just fits that mold perfectly for him.
Seeing some of your Van Looy stickers on board cameras here tonight with some of those providing their webcam experiences. Murray is one of them, by the way, here tonight. I think he was half joking in FLCC with the Glen that he was going to run with his helmet on that he uses for karting. But it was a bit of an up and down time for him. He got to about 12th towards the end of that race in that series. Tonight, a different story. Corey, turn your camera. I don't think
it's a road course. He might just be preparing us for what his car is going to look like in a couple of laps, Justin.
Trevor Ashmanoff, though, keeping pretty steady and cool as we are on the 1 to go mark. By the way, for your pace laps, going to be working for the back. Sean Rogers also going to be trying to work his way forward. He's looked pretty solid on road courses in Moonshiners. Starting outside, road 2 for a reason. And don't forget about Walmart. Down in the 8th spot here tonight. One of his best qualifying efforts of the season. So, on that note, we'd like to remind you tonight, Stage 1, again, brought to you by Collegiate Football Simulation League, the top collegiate simulation league. Create your legacy by visiting collegesimleague.com today. A full house of Van Looy stickers cameras. Happy to have you with us with these viewpoints tonight here for the Impact Sim Designs 200 at the Glen. Ready to fly here this evening. Murray rolls, trying to plan things out on the front row for the Van Looy sticker start zone. Green flag is out. We're underway from Watkins Glen.
Strong launch from Bowie. He's ahead in the turn 1 here. We'll see what Murray can do with that inside lane. Bowie overdrives the corner massively, though. Murray clear by a bit.
You know, he knocked the barrier down, actually, as he drops behind Matt Cox. And they rolled away up the hillside as a result. Remember the early road course on the schedule with Coda. It was Bowie who picked up the win there. Shouldn't be surprised to see him have a chance to try to recover that back. A few drivers stepping sideways like Gallimore mowing the grass. Everyone else to the bus stop, single file.
See how close these cars come to that barrier. Zach talked about it on the pre-race. One of the craziest corners on the entire schedule. You can see why right there. They have to get so much out of the racetrack that they come within inches of that metal barrier.
And so many people not afraid to use that runoff area. Moore was the only person in the top 10 not to really utilize it in the opening lap here so far. But Murray keeping smooth, heading up front of the EOLs tonight. Garcia and Carmichael. Donaldson will also have to do a drive-through penalty for his penalties that he's confirmed. He's coming down this time by. Gonna have to hope he doesn't get lapped before the end of the stage. But everybody else making their way through with the others also peeling in for their penalties. You see some of those into the lane for it.
Looking at Hunter Carmichael right there in the 3 coming down pit road. You know, some of these guys back here, as Bowie goes back for P2 on Cox now after that mistake he made early, but some of the guys back there, Justin, aren't the strongest road racers, so this penalty could end up really hurting them. Despite how big this track is, there's a lot of time for them to get ran down by our leaders and potentially get lapped before the stage ends.
And all of them rumbling on through with the top 2 running away. I'll show what you see his viewpoint. Almost a little separated, almost feels like. That's almost like a touch too far from the wheel, almost with the camera.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. He sits pretty far back, but I'm a little surprised to see that, especially on a road course where you really need to be up on the wheel and have a lot of control, but it's just how he's probably comfortable, and, you know, if it works for him, it works for him. Catalano was around up here in front of these guys in the runoff.
Catalano able to get it back going. That is your top and off sauce machine from Redline having issues. He was trying to send it underneath the boss man, Barry Sanders, in the top 10. It didn't work, obviously. How do you pick your spots right here? In the case of Catalano, he's seen pressure from behind, trying to send it, doesn't stick.
Yeah, I think, oh, he's around again. Oh, and he just took a massive hit in our live shot out of turn 1. He spun again in turn 1, and somebody took off the front clip of his race car. A terrible set of sequences for Ryan Catalano.
Chris Davis is the one who gets underneath him and makes contact. Watch on by, because the driver that will hit him is Jose Medina. And how frustrating is this to have happen? 2 laps of disaster.
Yeah, right there, I honestly think he just came down too much. Davis is there, and he just got in the gas trying to get back going, kind of pulled down into Medina there. Just unfortunate, but, you know, he's got the yellow coming in, you know, a little while here, so as long as he can just keep it on the lead lap and go put some tires on, get it fixed. You see on board Jose Medina here, and not a lot that he really probably could have done there.
So with that in mind, a couple laps down off the board. Some chaos striking as some of the others stretch out their legs. Cox is falling right back into the clutches of everybody else into the mixture. Sean Rogers keeping the pressure high. Those Beast Mode performance machines, you're on top of each other right now. So what do you do with the dirty air factor here? Because I know that was a huge talking point for so long in the Coke Series.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to pass here because of it. You're going to be really tight in a lot of the high-speed sections with it, and you just got to really let the race car work for you. It's not going to happen in a lap if you're close and pace with somebody. But see, like right here, Cox misses the bottom. Rogers needs to capitalize, use all that clean air, get a good run here down the straightaway.
Doesn't. And in fact, Cox stays tucked into the inside. The outside used by Rogers with a runoff area doesn't lead to much difference. So these two are running your 3 seconds off your leader. Timothy Harper, by the way, he's fallen down to 12th to start off his day. He lost 2 spots this lap already. That's with Cox, or rather Coffey and Wilson zipping on by. He's trying to replicate the new paint schemes that are for Bubba Wallace this year with the partnership they have in real life with Hardee's, replacing the Hardee's techs with Tilly's.
Looking scheme for about 23 this past weekend. Watkins Glen, big moment there in front of Harper. We go back on board with Hochschild here, still sitting pretty far back from that wheel. Of course, you see he also is using an actual shifting here, not paddle shifting, so he's got to take the handle off the wheel to do that. That is something that I do not think I would be capable of doing on a road course. I would be even worse than I already am if I did not have the paddle shifters getting around one of these places.
Yeah, my question to that is it actual H pattern, or is it one of the H patterns forced into the sequential mode? Because in iRacing, can't really per se punch the gear in like you could with the Gen 6 car, obviously, with the sequential gearbox.
And I will say, watching his hands there, he doesn't has it as sequential. He was just moving in one direction for downshift and one direction for upshift, which is pretty much what you are forced to do with this next gen race car with only having 5 gears. See right here as he goes up a gear there, it was forward, and he'll push it forward again right there. So yeah, definitely in a sequential mode for him, but it's still just, it takes a lot of discipline to drive with a hand off the wheel as much as you have to with how many times you're changing gears around this place.
It's running 18th for reference, working hard through the gears. Kenny Rio leads this pack, by the way. Rio, for his sake, already up +4. Here's Bowie, keeping the pressure high on Murray.
he's chased down Murray quite a bit when you consider the mistake he made earlier and the time he had to take to get around Cox. So once again, a really strong showing for Bowie here on one of these road courses. You mentioned he won Coda earlier this season, was definitely the best car there, and strong early once again here.
Don't forget, Murray had a good chance to contend for the win there too. Then he had a crash for the race lead. Obviously don't want to replicate that tonight.
Yeah, he really beat himself in that situation, kind of just got on a curb pad and wrecked himself. I think he's less likely to make that kind of mistake here. But, you know, it is always a possibility when you're pushing as hard as you are around the racetrack that you could slip here and there. But I mean, Bowie is eating into that lead. He's down under 6 times second here this time. Oh, he's blinking out, though.
I was about to say, had a tech issue down the straight. Lost a little ground, actually, this lap. About a 10th and a half overall to the back end of the 22 overall net. But they still have 5+ seconds over everybody else on this track. You see the distance up the S's, for example, the hillside. So for Murray at the very least, we know he's got the clean air advantage. How difficult is it to save the tire, though, knowing if you fall off hard, it's going to be able to maintain your position, especially, say, your hard charger. Going to be hard to make sure you don't fall back like Coffee, for example, here.
It definitely just depends on how you're wearing, but if you're wearing tight, being out front is definitely the advantage right now. So if Bowie is struggling with that front turn, it's only going to get compounded as he follows behind that 22 of Murray. But if Murray is building loose and he's the one in clean air, that's going to compound for him as the run goes as well.
The case of Coffee here, still running well. William Owens checking out him, 17th, where the 30 car runs at the moment. Just looking for any bit of luck in a league race. It seems like any time he's had track position, there's been flying anvils, there's been silver dollars that land on his head. Basically everything that could go wrong for that 30 car has continued to bounce around some of the others.
Justin, you know I have quite a bit of experience driving that race car, even under the same banner he's driving under now. So, yeah, I'll say that some of my shortcomings were some bad luck too, and maybe we'll say that the car numbers got some bad omen going on with it across the service.
Yeah, I don't know what to say on that other than, yeah, battle on screen is what we can say. Adina already a hit to the front nose.
One right there.
Oh my goodness, car in the middle of the racetrack. Everyone dodged for now, but that was a treacherous one for Kyle Holden.
Holden was one of our best drivers on the road courses all season last year. He didn't really show it at Coda, and struggling here early again. Just not at all the season across the board I think we've been expecting out of this 97 with the amount of pace he showed a lot last year. You're going to see here, though, he's just breaking down turn 1. Looks like he hit his normal points. He's going to get down on this curve. He's probably just going to snap over his curve right here. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So just lost the rear of the car over that transition. Locked it down. It didn't hit anything, but boy, oh boy, was he in a bad spot when he backed up. Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness. That could have been very, very bad. Dominic Ponce's company replay. Was about to say in that regard, how easy is it to do that with this car?
Yeah, I mean, the rear end of the car is disconnected. You don't feel it, especially on a sim where we're really driving off sound and the feel in our wheel. You know, some guys have pedals that vibrate, you can feel a little bit there too. And, you know, there's devices out there, haptic devices like butt kickers and stuff where you can feel a little, but you really just cannot feel the rear end of your race car at all. So when you hop over those transitions like that and it comes out from under you, it's really without any warning whatsoever. And that's why you never save those situations.
Definitely a challenge, and we've seen that all across the platform in the past week. Know some of the drivers are really trying to dig, like Garcia. He's actually making passes from the drive-through. Same for Donaldson. So a few of the cars are already on some heavy movements through the pack. This 8 machine battling with Sanchez already for 21st.
Him getting up through these guys and showing this pace this quickly is going to definitely be someone we should keep an eye on once he gets the reset with the yellow. Back on board with Holden here after that issue he had a moment ago. He's already going back by Johnny Shade in the 45. And you see he's a part of the same line of cars that Garcia's in. You can see right there Greg Carr in front of him, not running quite as aggressively using all the racetrack, and that's where you can really find a lot of the speed that the 97's making on him right now.
10 laps in, we have gaps as high as 43 seconds from the front to the back of the field. That's a massive separation to say the very least tonight. And obviously that's part setup, but also it's very, oh, trouble. Bit of a slide out of that 1736 pack. Carmichael just lost it.
Yeah, and he was one of our drive-throughs, Justin, so this is even worse for his metrics on trying to stay on the lead lap here. Gonna lose even more time. I mean, our leaders are getting pretty close to him already, and we're only halfway through this first stage.
By the way, for those watching along tonight on TikTok, hello! It's our second broadcast in this week on the platform. For those who don't follow Precision Entertainment on TikTok, go to @GoPrecision. Yes, the username @GoPrecision. You can follow along on the TikTok feed also. So hello to those watching along on a different platform here tonight as we continue to have some fun. That being said here, we're already about halfway through the stage. There's a strong chance of lap traffic here for the race leaders at the pace we're running. They have not fallen out of the 109s yet. They're the only drivers yet to fall out of it.
Yeah, they're both keeping each other honest right now. They are pushing each other to their limits and using a lot of racetrack. And, you know, they haven't gotten side by side, but I can guarantee you the intensity level for both of them to race this close to each other is just as intense as a side-by-side battle at some ovals. But that shot right there through the second to the last corner, we already saw some lap traffic on the front stretch in front of them. We'll see it again right there, so they are definitely going to catch the cars in a hurry. But here's Garcia again, still working forward after his penalty on the inside for P19 now into the bus stop, and there's going to be no contest for that one.
Still holding things back here. Keep in mind, Donaldson is the first of those from the penalty box to charge up to 17th already, plus 10, and is already at least, compared to Garcia, 4 or 5 seconds up the road. Look at this for the lead though. Murray's got pressure. Bowie closed up a lot of time and fast. Was 2/10 quicker last time. No said complete this time. Murray gonna have to play defense already.
Murray showing there how hard it is to make a pass on a good road racer at this racetrack. He knows how to defend into the bus stop. Not a lot of passing opportunities, and when somebody knows how to defend in those passing opportunities, the job becomes even harder. Get a quick look there. Most positions gained. We mentioned at the top of the show, Coffey, no qualifying lap. You see he's in 7th, up 17 positions. He's the one that's been climbing through the field. He also historically has been very good on the road courses in this series.
Indeed, and right now as they continue to find a way to pressurize, some of the traffic will move away quickly. Nigel Christensen, he's just trying to have fun in 30th position.
Oh, Murray almost tore the fence down right there, and Bowie kind of followed him right into it. They are really pushing each other for this.
Yeah, right now we're just seeing how things will go, and keep in mind, some of these drivers are going to have to be very careful how do they approach the blue flags for some of the drivers. Matt Metler's the next up for Wear Friends. Later on, when we get to the full distance, or the stage 3 lane, should say, that's where it's going to be a lot of traffic management sequences that are going to be chaotic here potentially.
Yeah, when you mentioned that stage length and you mentioned full distance, obviously not a full distance race, but relatively speaking, a long race compared to some of the races we run when we look at the lap count to, you know, the real life counterpart in the Cup Series. 82 laps here tonight, 100 laps is what they ran in real life, so going to be quite a long one for road course. He's going to be tired by the end of it, probably see some more mistakes, and eventually these two will catch a lap car that's not going to give them space like this one is here. So, you know, good job by Matt Rivera just getting out of the way and letting these guys race. This is the right decision to make, but they're going to catch somebody eventually that's not going to do that, and that's when things will get really hairy.
Remember, in real life, they added 10 laps this year, too. It normally was a 90-lap race, or nearly running the original full distance of these types of races. Coffey, by the way, he's gone to the 110.2s. I think he's got solid pace. Plus 17 still for Coffey. The tough thing is it closing enough to gain on any of the other packs here? Maybe Corey Moore, but there might not be enough laps here unless he's able to really reel it in. Coffey doing a good job on the road course tonight.
Yeah, his pace is the fastest in the field over our two leaders right now, looking at the numbers. He's not quite as fast as those two. I will also mention while I say that Rogers in third is pretty much running the same pace as Coffey as well. So those two kind of in their own little spot. We should see them race for third and fourth if all things break the same way. But Bowie and Murray, the class of the field right now, without question.
Hearing a lot of conversation on the radio with Kenny Real because he just went around. The 99s had problems because he was side by side with Davis. The 87 was right on the curb with them. Here's the top of Hanso's Company replay. Jeremy, you be the judge. There's a big fight on the radio between these two.
I will see what I see here. You know, I'll call it out. I see it. You see Real on the outside. Davis got the run on him clean and square. Davis is all the way on the curb. 99 just kind of comes down into him and gets himself out of shape up the S's.
Both the game very chippy to say the very least here. Right here, you see the 87 down at the bottom. Yeah, came a little down.
I really don't know what Real wants out of Davis right there. It's just one of those deals where I think just somebody making a mistake, and I've done it myself where I feel I got wrong, but Davis was really as far to the right as he could be there.
And really, that's going to add to the incident points, at least one or two, going to be for Real possibly. Traffic is a couple corners ahead of the race leaders. Bowie's going for it. Here we go. A big block to the inside. Murray hugs the right side. Outside line for Bowie for the 90.
I don't know how many times Bowie will let him make a block like that. That was a little bit crossing the line from what I think you would normally see here. I think Bowie was kind of there. Murray came down anyways. We'll see what happens up the S's. Bowie's been better up the S's than Murray. I think his fronts have held on better, but Alex hits it really good that time. That dirty air struggles for 51, but he still gets the run here down the back straightaway towards the tunnel turn. Or the bus stop, sorry.
Will he take it to the bus stop, in fact? No, not close enough to lunge. But Bowie is taking advantage of massive runs. Look at this to the bumper. Couldn't get there either.
Still calm, cool, and collected over Murray. You can see him still just, you know, not feeling any pressure, you know, at least expressing that he's feeling any pressure. Bowie's got another big run here. He's going to be side by side down here. On the outside, though, he's not going to be able to make that run again. He's going to have to back off and follow in behind. We'll see what they do down in the 7.
Still planting the corners, still hugging along, coming up to 4 to go. Not a sign of emotion off that face of the 22 machine in all this, by the way. And they're still running some of the fastest laps of the track. Although they did slow down half a second. First time they've been slower than third on back the entire race. That's how busy they've been battling here.
I mean, this track position is definitely really important for Murray because Bowie looks a little bit quicker, and it's so hard to pass here that Murray may be able to hold him off all night, but at the same time, on the other side of that coin, if it was the other way around, Bowie probably able to hold him off all night as well. So that's why they're racing this hard this early.
By the way, great car. You take a look towards the back of the field, one of those that are at risk being lapped soon. He's got Catalano just in front, who is recovering from his incident. So far, Catalano, after the hit to the nose, he's okay-ish, but obviously that nose damage not going to help him.
Yeah, I think Catalano has good pace. He just made a couple of mistakes. And, you know, if he stays on the lead lap, he'll have a chance to recover for him. So hoping for his sake he can. He's looking like he's in the spot here where he should be able to with this group of guys that they're all running in line with. That's Medina there in front of him. And, oh, a little bit of a wiggle up there in front of them as well. But this line of cars should be pretty safe.
Yeah, and he's right now right back to about where Medina is. Medina, his hit didn't really get nose damage, just lop onto the car. Close up, by the way, Corey Moore has been reeled in with under 3 to go. 19 falling right into the clutches of Coffee. Moore struggling a little bit on long run, has burned up his Goodyear Eagles.
Yeah, he's falling back to Coffee. You did mention under 3 to go. We'll see if anybody chooses to flip the stage when they come around this time. Namely our leaders. Everybody else a little too far back to probably get there before the pits close, but still keeping a look here on Coffee, trying to chase down Corey Moore there in front of him. Definitely a little bit quicker, but running out of time to pick up that position before the stage ends.
Right now you just see how much he's up on the wheel in the comparison to Shield, right on top of the rim, if you will, for Coffee here tonight. Coming up to 2 laps to go now for these drivers in the stage. 2 laps to go. As, look at this, we have a pit stop. It's Catalano, and this, I think, will be him a lap down because of it.
Yeah, that's a mistake. He's trying to hook the stage, but can't flip the stage when you're only a couple of seconds in front of the leaders. That is the wrong call, and he is going to pay for it dearly. But those two do stay out, so they're both going to go collect those stage points, and they're racing for a stage win here.
See all the other cameras, how intense things are looking here. Some of the fans and drivers dealing with various spectators looking along. Others, their cameras have actually fallen to hide their head.
Yeah, I was looking at astronauts there. It's quite funny. We just got a shot of the bright green shirt there, but yeah, get full screen for it. Thank you for that, Ryan. But so maybe we'll see if he gets that fixed once he gets yellow.
Yep, here we go. Want to go in the stage coming up. Murray's going to have both Nick King and Kenny Reel to deal with. They'll be the last cars, potentially, maybe they'll get to great car. Reel dealing with some damage on the rear end. You can see him just trying to hold on. Murray way wide and Bowie. So what happened to Bowie? He just went off the gas.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Bowie. I don't know if he made a mistake or if he just decided to bail and racing for the stage win for some reason. I have to watch his back, but that was odd. I didn't see anything that looked like he made a mistake at all.
Slow down? I don't know, because I haven't really seen him with the runoff.
Yeah, definitely no slow downs for the runoffs. We'll see here. He goes down into turn 1.
Just lifts?
Yeah. Completely cut the engine, really, it sounds like, too. I don't...
Did he think the stage was done?
That potentially could be what happened there.
Well, stage's going to be done this time instead, because Alex Murray now definitely will see that green-white checker flag this time. Alex Murray, flag to start, wins stage 1 over Brandon Bowie.
So you know who is really happy Brandon Bowie made that mistake? Nick King, because he was able to cut Nick King a break because he had all that space back to Bowie. Because you see Bowie close all the way back up there at the end. That would not have happened from 12 otherwise.
Chris Cornett's just had issues this time by, so there's problems for the 83 where he's very slow all of a sudden. There's the stage caution, it's out. Timothy Harper was the last to take the stage points. Murray, Bowie, Rogers, Cox, Fetter plays the top 5. Coffey, Moore, Gallimore, Sanders, and Harper indeed get top 10s as they come across to the green-white checkered. So we're put under caution flag just right back here. So now the approach is simple. Take tires and fuel, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, I would think that's the right call here. You know, there is the alternative option here is to stay out and run this tank to empty and pit in the middle of the stage to flip your track position before the final stage. I think it would make more sense to pit under this yellow and then just flip your track position at the end of the stage and have to crash the tires. Possible to start that final stage, but it is something that somebody could consider trying because, well, frankly, you're not going to beat these guys doing the same thing they're doing.
Definitely not. And right now, we're about to find out pretty soon how this all gonna go as everyone catches up to the pace car. We still have 26 on the lead lap. Nick Kane and Kenny Reel did get the chance to stay on the lead lap because Murray had the gap to play with. What do you feel drivers will do adjustment-wise at this point here, at this point of the race?
Yeah, I'm not well enough versed in what the car needs to be adjusted on the road courses as well as I am on the ovals. I mean, I do know the basic principles of like what's going to do what, but with all the left and rights, it gets a little trickier because you might fix something somewhere, but you'll make something else a lot worse. And because of that, I always kind of just stayed put with what I had because I'm not the best road racer, and if I make a change, I'm more likely to make a mistake because I'm not going to be used to the feel and I'm going to lose that muscle memory a little bit. But I think for Murray and Bowie, those guys are so good, they're going to be making some changes here. Probably some air pressure adjustments, maybe a little bit of a change on the spring purchase here, but I don't think they'll do anything major to either of those race cars.
Definitely see that down pit side in a few moments with Zach Case, who's been very busy tonight here on the grounds. Everyone's still working from the back half of the field to get up to the pace cars. Some of these drivers are going to be at least 20-30 seconds behind when they reach the pit cones possibly, unless they're able to get a move on here. Lucky Dog trying to come on through, by the way. Hold on, I think Nick King just had an issue. Nick King just rammed to the back of Kenny Reel under caution.
No, Kenny Reel's not going to be the guy you want to do that to, because he's probably going to get a little bit upset over that, as I know you were already hearing what I'm hearing with that, but that is unfortunate for Kenny Reel for sure. That's not happened to him.
I think Zach will have some stuff to add to that. Let's see this. Boom.
A lot of damage.
That's now.
The ball there too.
Kenny Reel's at 6x he just reported as well, so.
Well, he said that put him to 10. He said he was already at a 6. So that's actually way worse for him, given how early we are in the race.
Zach, to you.
I mean, I've been very busy walking around so far. I feel like haven't been much to report on besides the pit stops here. I think Jeremy's right, though. We're going to put a full tank of fuel in it, 4 tires. Some guys are going to be able to fix some damage, which helps out, especially that 99 of Kenny Reel, as we just saw on the top of the hot sauce replay there. So we'll expect to see the top 2 really fly away with this one again. We'll see if anyone challenges. I know Coffey's been quick. I know Rogers has been quick in P3, but the race off pit road, as expected, the 22 of Alex Murray leads that one. Brandon Bowie to follow, then rounding out P3, Sean Rogers in that 44 machine. Back up to you guys. I'm going to go find something to do here in the campground.
Well, have fun. We'll take a break ourselves here as the Van Looy Stickers cameras, we're down 1. All of a sudden, we're under caution. The Impact Sim Designs 200 at the Glen continues after this.
Welcome back to Watkins Glen International here in upstate New York for the Impact Sim Designs 200 at the Glen. I'm Zach Case, live from the campgrounds in the infield. It's a party down here at the end of stage 1, as it's been all Alex Murray so far in that number 22 car. Brandon Bowie has been there, though. We'll see if he puts up a challenge and maybe continues the push here in stage 2. It's going to be 20 laps in stage 2 here, and then we'll have 42 to set up our final stage 3. I'm very excited to see what direction this race goes in here, as we're going to turn right here pretty soon. Back up to you guys in the booth.
Thank you very much, Zach. As we get ready to go, Jeremy, again, look at the stage. Again, this stage going to be brought to you once again in this series by RS Button Boxes. These drivers, again, will have 20 laps technically. In theory, only 16 green, though, is the big one. So we'll find out how aggressive things get. The top 2 seem to have the pace for the Van Looy Stickers restart zone here tonight. Will that be the case again, you think, with the top 2?
Yeah, I mean, I think it will. It's just so hard to do something different here, right? So, you know, I think they're going to pull away. Those 2 are going to get settled out front again. Bowie is going to have less time to work on Murray this time, so we'll see if he's a little more aggressive in the short run. Do need to remember, the initial start, Bowie made that mistake and lost a lot of ground and had to make that back up. So if he doesn't do that this time, it could be a different race on the fresh tires.
We'll find out pretty soon how some of these drivers will race it on out. We did get a couple waves. Munstone, Holden, and Metler are going to have a long way to get to the pack here because they're way far back. Catalano also took a wave. So those 3 be at least a quarter track possibly, if not more, behind if they don't get going. Alex Murray just told the field he's going to give pace car the room here We just had a blink out for Brandon Bowie, so technical issues possibly stacking up here. You don't want that anywhere. At the least, it's not a speedway. It's not like you're going side by side every lap for some internet turbulence.
Yeah, it does definitely alleviate some of the issues here, and you know, it also exasperates it to a degree as well, though, because it's such a bigger track to render. So if you're having hardware issues, it is harder on the system in that sense.
Ready to go. Okay, we're not using this zone. In fact, we are. Murray already on the gas, coming to the Van Louis Stickers restart zone. Green, green, green. Well, that might be a little decisive there. Murray's right in front of Bowie. He's able to block off the outside with a bump.
Yeah, Bowie almost leaned on that bumper right there. We're going to be side by side here coming to the S's. I mean, Bowie's got him. I mean, Murray way overshot that after that bump.
So to the lead for the first time tonight, it's Brandon Bowie's 51 machine. The points leader looks to get up and giddy away. Murray trying to figure out a way to carve his way back in front here. Well, right now, the tough thing is Bowie's already got a lot quicker speed short run, it looks like.
I did think that 51 was a little bit faster than 22, so this is going to be harder on Murray to make that pass. We saw how hard it was for 51 to make the pass. Gotta imagine it's going to be even more difficult for Murray with what we were seeing, especially if Bowie made that car better and Murray may not have it. We were talking about Donaldson, specifically you, Justin, coming from the back. P8 right now, after a penalty early, all over at 11 of Paul Gallimore here. He's going to take that position.
Now this is a rapid pace for the 67. One of those, I think, has become one of the star drivers out of that platform. Now up to 7th in the dig camp as Coffee you see on board. A little bit of a gain up on the start here by a couple spots. The 54 trying to keep up with the next group that was away a little bit earlier. Better place right in front of Rogers here.
Yeah, Rogers was our third place car for most of the entire first stage. Versus Better Place has worked his way forward there. That's Bowie's teammate, so gotta think he's probably on the same stuff. And look off the back of Rogers, there's Coffee in behind him in 5th. He's still climbing after starting in the back, not putting in a qualifying time. But Rogers all over the 34 car.
Yeah, you see how much Rogers is almost fighting with the wheel. He also has sequential gear shifter to his right tonight. See him just making those adjustments as he goes through the gears. Looking to the inside, doesn't work. Better Place covered it off. Got to be careful, like we've already seen one incident already in the penultimate turn from Ascent.
Yep, saw some spinners on the track throughout this restart, but no big wrecks so far. But Murray just ran his fastest lap of the session, but Rogers with a huge dive there on the inside of Better Place. He's not going to get clear of that position, though, and that 34 is going to get a nice run here in the S's. They're going to be side by side, but he's not going to be able to hang on to that right rear quarter or left rear quarter panel. No, he actually is. Fights back hard right there.
Up the hillside, a little bit dicey. Able to settle back down. So they get themselves back into the line once again here. And it's about, in a lot of cases here, we've seen the passing opportunities at the bus stop pop up in real life. We've seen that in the 90, especially here tonight. Are those the main places left, you feel, at this point of the run with how things are going?
I think there's still a few more to be seen, but it definitely seems to be, you know, becoming more textbook in the situation. But I mean, this group of cars is very fresh to us. We didn't really see any of these guys racing each other before, so we'll see a lot come out of this. Donaldson's in that picture, Matt Cox is in that picture. Gallimore's impressed me so far with his pace, so I'll see how that 11 does as this run builds on. But shorter stage, so there's a lot less time for everything to go and develop right here.
Finding out pretty soon how Gallimore's going to play things out. He is on the big mover board at the very minimum. How do you feel about Paul's season so far? Because he is in the postseason picture. He's only 36 up, though. That's with just one top 5 in the book. Hold on. Better conversation. 67 for 6th.
Each of these passes are getting harder, though. These are faster race cars every time. He's not able to just pick them up and put them down like he was earlier. You see Cox putting up some good fight here. Good defensive line there into the bus stop, and a pretty good defensive line there through the carousel, too. You see Wilson back here. That's with the aid of Nico Garcia. We were covering him coming up through the field with Donaldson as well. Obviously not as quickly as Donaldson, but it does look like Garcia may have found about where his pace is settling into this group.
Oh, hold on, we have trouble. 32 is off the racetrack. Gallimore just got into it. Also, Matt Cox, he ended up getting loose with the curbing and slamming a tire barrier down. No damage, though.
Take a look here to top it off. Hot Sauce Company replay. You see Matt Cox here in the 32, right there in front of the 67 of Donaldson. We were just covering this battle a moment ago. They're going to be headed down out of the carousel here. Donaldson putting some pressure on that 32 from a little bit back. We'll see what happened here from on board with the 67, Justin.
Yeah, right there, just gets on by and picks up a spot. And Gallimore comes in and gives him a shot for good measure. Zach.
Yeah, just one thing to comment there. Those Armco barriers, the blue railing you see all the way around the racetrack, those are not forgiving to your car. We saw this past weekend with Cody Ware coming into turn 7. Now, same thing with Matt Cox. Luckily, he was able to hit that blue tire barrier you just saw on screen, so that's one thing to note there. So watch out for that Armco barrier. That's going to be something to watch here the rest of the evening.
Keep an eye on it here. Oh, wow, the race lead. Coming up to 10 to go next time by the stage. Still sets up a decent buffer of 6/10 on the racetrack. So these two continue to put on a show here. Was about to say, Jeremy, the one thing I'm noticing, though, quite simply, Murray, now that he's got dirty air, have a lot harder time than what Bowie was doing and when Bowie was chipping away in dirty air at this point of the run.
Yeah, he's still just as even in pace with Bowie, but he's not able to get as close to the back bumper of the 51 as the 51 could get to his back bumper. So Bowie definitely had a stronger car in dirty, it appears. I do wonder, though, if Murray is able to break through this bubble and get to that 51's rear bumper, if he's going to be willing to use his bumper to make that pass happen after what we saw on the restart.
We're seeing just how much Murray is just figuring what he can do here. Doesn't look as happy as previously as he knew he knocks the barrier down for good measure. By the way, in the Donaldson case, was about to mention, but that circumstance, Donaldson is right now in his pack battling. We've seen some of the others go, including Kyle Holden, after the drive to get the wave before. Looks like Wayne Wilson going to keep to the outside, though. Keep in mind, Holden did have a stop previously prior to the end of the stage.
I'm still just really shocked at how Holden's running here. I expected a good bit better out of him based on what we've seen. So just not the night he was looking for so far back there in 15th. On board, though, Barry Sanders, Bossman, looking up front. That's Corey Moore in front of him, still hanging on nicely in the top 10. You see all these guys kind of in a battle to 7th right there. Gallimore has dropped off of Donaldson in front of him.
See how the 88 does. And remember, Barry is a good road course racer. He won Chicago Street Course for a reason. This season, though, with the competition level picking up, a little bit further than where we expect him on the road courses, where last year he was a top 5 threat.
And competition's getting better, which is always a good thing, but I think that also plays into the Holden thing I was talking about too there. So just a lot of names that are really good on the road courses, and you know, they're making themselves known up front. Mark Sanchez has an issue in the bus stop apparently. He's trying to get back going, and that 29 car way off the racetrack. See on board Alex Coffeyville right now. He's working on Fetter Place for P4. Coffey, another guy who's been really good on the road courses, used to be kind of a weekly contender every time we headed to a road course, and right now, with the talent that has influx into this field, mitigated to a top 5 threat.
We're definitely seeing how, in the case of some of these drivers, all about laser focus. You see this right now with Coffey for good measure in the battle with Fetter Place. Nothing going for Donaldson in his charge in the 67. Nick King, interesting enough, just had to come down pit road. Had some issues, it looks like, again for the 12. So we're already starting to see drivers reach incident points. Kane is the first to hit it.
Yeah, he gave himself 4 of those under yellow, so that definitely contributed that to him for him. So not been his night so far. You see the shot off the back bumper. Look at who's coming out right in front of. That's our race leader, Brandon Bowie, trailed by second place Alex Murray.
We'll find just how well he's able to bounce back from that one. In front of the leaders, by the way, which is the worst thing for him because he's already risking losing a lap again. That might actually help things out. Oh, hold on. Kane's off the track in front of them. Make it 18 incident points, I guess, for the 12 as he goes off the track again to let him go.
Way wide there, out of their way, not going to affect our leaders there at all. You see Murray right there, cutting almost into the grass right there out of the carousel. You know, you do that too many times, you can stack up those 1Xs if you get too much wheel into the grass right there. But, I mean, these two, the pace is just incredibly even between these cars. And I think we really hit on this, Justin. We thought even if it flipped that it would still be incredibly even. But we were also, it seems right, that the 22 isn't quite as good as the 51 when in the dirty air.
Yeah, I think that's going to stand throughout the course of this one as there's a look at Corey Moore, by the way, in the conversation. Still holding on the top 10 here tonight. But look at that, it's Matt able to recover back a spot at least. After having the contact with Paul, he gets it back, opens the door for Moore. Corey Moore drives on by. Here comes everybody else joining in also.
And Garcia was drifting in the back of that shot behind these guys. So actually that 8 car has continued to climb forward a little bit after this, but still looking off the back of Moore. You see Galmo lost 2 spots in that exchange, and he's under pressure right away from Barry Sanders.
By the way, that is Hunter Carmichael, who's up 18. That's in this pack here too. Another one of those from the drive-through to start off the race. They pass by a spot a race car. Again, the 32.
That one damaged the race car. You see the left front of that pushed in. Doesn't look like any wheel damage right now. Trying to get a good shot there straight on. Didn't look like any wheel damage to the left front. We'll take another look at a Top It Off Hot Sauce Company replay. You see Cox here. Clean air, Justin, after he just made that pass up the S's. He's going to barrel on down into the bus stop with no pressure and make a mistake completely on his own.
Yeah, he is just definitely demolished the suspension this time out because fine pogo stick. And everybody on the radio said, bye, Matt, in response to that. So a little bit of playful bye-byes or happiness depending on your team. But that being said, going to be a bit of a points hit for the 32 who dropped the spot entering tonight and might at the very least drop to a season low 5th.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a hit there. We're on board though right now with the 54 of Coffee. New car in front of him that he hasn't seen the back bumper of today. That is Donaldson, who passed him on this lap actually while we were taking a look at that replay. Coffee had a moment out of turn 1, got a little sideways and allowed the 67 to come on through.
Yeah, right now I think Coffee just knows what's his car got for speed and knows Donaldson is a shining car in terms of pace right now for the dig cam. But that in mind here, we're still less than 5 to go on the stage here this time by. We are at 5 to go, in fact, right now. And this race is zipping on by. This is one of your quickest races of the season. Normally is with the road courses after all, like the Glen. Garcia, for his sake, he's now got top 10 because Carmichael and Barry Sanders got tangled up.
Yeah, we're still side by side back there behind him, both on opposite ends of the asphalt. They're going to settle in behind each other right there. But saw some tire smoke coming out of the 88 in that situation. He got pretty sideways. But how about Garcia and the 8 all the way up to P9?
See the top of the Pontos coming to replay. All that sparked up, part because I think Sanders got loose with the curbing here too, Jeremy.
I see Carmichael off behind him, not really putting too much pressure on the 88 right there. And yeah, he just got over that curb bad. Did a good job though. He used the little trick, Justin. You just jab that brake in and the next gen straightens itself right on out. And that's what he was able to do right there and avoid losing any more time.
And in turn, Garcia just tries to avoid it all. Has to go to the outside to dodge. Has space, sees trouble, tries around trouble, says, I am that boy Nico. That in mind. Bowie,
We'll move
still
on from
brewing.
that one.
It's on his car, it's his graphic company.
Oh, is it? Okay, okay.
It's a thing. But that in the mind, as the others try and set things up. At this point, is there anything Murray can do here? Because it's obvious.
Flip the stage.
Okay. Do you think he does it here? Because his window to do it is this time by.
He can do it again this next time by, and he better do it if he wants to win the race. He's not beating the 51 from second.
Does he risk it is the thing. He can definitely pull it off with a 4-tar stop. He's got the time. Pit stops are only 43 seconds lane to lane, or cone to cone, if you will. We'll find out if he thinks about it to try and get the clean air back. Coffee. See him play with the shifter paddles to go up the hill. He's dropped back. Donaldson, Fetterplace, and Rogers have all started a gap ahead of him.
Yeah, Coffee is definitely not hanging quite with those guys, but obviously still well within his sights. And, you know, Rogers, Fetterplace, Donaldson all on the line right there. Donaldson all over that 34's back bumper right here. There's some really good pace in that 67. I'd be interested to see what he can do when he restarts on this final restart a little bit further up in the field.
So right now we follow the packs to answer the question, will we see anyone try and flip the stage from the front? No. Murray did not come down with the 2 to go mark. Rogers staying down low, doesn't flip it either. Mentler tries hard to the inside, he moved out of the way. Lap traffic has been, for the most part, no factor-ish for the top drivers yet. But that in mind here with Garcia holding on the 9th, or that last, because he's closing up on Gallimore.
Yeah, he's coming up on him pretty quickly, so he's been doing a really good job. So, you know, he's got a good shot at getting another point out of Gallimore right here before we get to the end of the stage. But Gallimore is a good driver too, so it'll be a good battle between these two as they come up the S's. Though that 8 is closing in on the 11.
Just right now, chances are there to try and do something, anything. See the charge up to the corner. Just not close enough. Moore still holds on to a good cushion. Coming to 1 to go on the stage.
Seeing that where they're going by in front of these guys, I do let that group by. So this group already closing in on him as he lost a lot of time with that moment down the front straightaway. See some more cars trailing in behind there. Carmichael, that was our last car going 4 stage points. That's Holden behind him in 11. He's worked his way forward as the stage has come towards a conclusion.
Want to go on the stage, this time by about 43 laps to go. Holden right now, first driver over the stage points, not getting to spot yet, but he is closing on the aero car in front. Both of them in different aero cams as we still see some of the others up the hillside. Lap traffic right ahead. Rogers gonna have to find a way quickly to get around Sanchez. Sanchez moves up high, and that, see that chance go for naught. All well, as Medina spun around in the final corner, the leaders will zip on by that section. Medina's already clear. Bowie goes flag to flag in stage number 2. Green-white checker flag. Your points leader, Brandon Bowie, adds another one. He wins stage 2.
Yeah, great job there by Bowie. You see, definitely not pushing on that last lap. Gave up a good bit of time to Murray, just trying to keep that car in one piece. But those two go opposite in the 2 stages, both earning 19 points in the first 2 stages.
Bowie, Murray, Rogers. Hold on a second. Garcia just some reason had an issue at the end. believe Garcia is out of the stage points. I think he had a spin from the final points and spun to the other side of the commitment cone. Take a look at this. Wow!
I'm not sure what happened right there. That is really weird. Then he got on the wall and just bounced it down in there. Man, what a mistake. He just pitted, Justin. What a mistake.
I don't know if he pit or didn't.
No, I know, just a little we're gonna lose reference. I'm sorry.
I really don't know about that send, but I will say he's lucky, if he is indeed lucky, to avoid a penalty there. But now this is now going to be under 41 to go. We're past halfway this time. And now this run goes to 42 laps on the distance. So now, plan is going to be interesting. Bowie, or rather Garcia, just had his black flags cleared, by the way. We're losing cameras. We're down to 5.
These cars have been involved in so many incidents that they've knocked off the onboards, so just disconnecting some wiring as they've been, jargoning back and forth out there.
And so, who's impressed you the most tonight and why?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Justin? I apologize.
I was about to say, who's impressed you tonight and why?
I mean, obviously the top two, right? Billy and Murray have been impressive.
Outside of the top two, that's the easy fruit.
Donaldson's been very, very impressive. Garcia's been impressive up until that point as well. Carmichael up there, I mean, I was not expecting the 3 to be in the top 10 on a road course like he's been tonight, so good job by him. Corey Moore as well. There's quite a few guys throughout this field that have worked pretty well at the road course pace, and it's showing tonight.
Turn. Everyone just compresses to regroup. Some drivers still dealing with damage significantly, like Catalano. Wilson's got some treat. Cox has got heavy damage still after his hit. We're coming up towards that sequence where we will see some stops here. Already it looks like Johnny Shea gonna get the lucky dog because he's already moved into position to pass by the field. He was the last driver, or the first driver, 1 lap down. The time of the stage, caution. Pit stop time. It's time to head down to Zach.
Yeah, everyone's going to bring it on in and come down pit road to come see me. And in terms of the top 2, I'm hearing from the 22 camp that there's going to be a big swing on adjustments from Alex Murray and that team. So we'll see what Murray and crew can do. We'll see if that dig machine can have any fight here for Brandon Bowie. For Brandon Bowie, though, looks like 4 tires and fuel, maybe some minor adjustments. We talked about the damage for some other drivers farther in the back. They're definitely going to need to fix that up now. I think biggest thing here, 42 laps for the final stage. It's a lot. It's 22 laps longer than our first 2 stages. How do you adjust? Is there any change of game plan there? And we'll see what drivers can really make a crack at these top 2. Sean Rogers out and away. Murray also there. And Bowie is going to be speeding off a pit road. A big problem for the Brandon Bowie number 51 machine. Alex Murray's going to take over at point, and that is not what you want to see if you're in the aero camp tonight. Back up to you guys.
Did Murray speed?
Murray speed.
Oh my goodness. So how is this going to go now, Jeremy? Your 2 fastest cars are going to have to start in the 20s.
I think they're both good enough to get through the field with how much time we have left. I am so happy they both just did this. We are going to get an awesome show out of it.
Sean Rogers is now your leader. And it's going to get interesting now. I'm curious what Sean's thoughts are going to be. Why do we talk with Sean Rogers here? Stay here because Sean, how do you feel being the leader after the top 2 get speeding penalties?
Well, they obviously had a lot better pace than me, but I seem to be holding third pretty well. I know I got coffee and a couple of good cars in my mirror, but yeah, that's very surprising. So that makes it interesting. So I guess we'll see what we can do. We got a longer stint here, so we'll see what the strat is, how it plays out through this last stage.
What have you done adjustment-wise to try and keep up with the racetrack, to try and counter with the need for the long run and think about the strategy?
It's all strategy for me. I haven't done too many changes to the car. The car feels good. It's just it's a lot slicker out here than I was kind of prepared for, you know, doing officials and my various other leagues. So it's been a little different, but we're kind of adjusting, and I think I found a good pace, and we'll see how it works out.
We'll see what happens here. Thank you very much for your time, Sean.
Thank you.
John Rogers from the radio. He's now your leader, Jeremy. How is this gonna go next? Boy, oh boy. You see a lot of wave around. Chris Davis and Trevor Ashworth, for whatever reason, pit. I think they're trying to do some fuel strat games. But your top two all race, on the pylon at least, will start towards the tail. And this is going to be an interesting one because they'll have a lot more cars to start behind.
Yeah, I mean, they're both going to have to drive through this field here, so we'll see what they can do. I'm seeing right now on our ticker, they have scored 13th and 14th. I don't know if there's anybody else that's be coming to pass them, though, from further off the back pit road. We'll see if that's exactly. I hear tires squealing like crazy. I don't know what happened. Oh, Jim Treat just wrecked coming up the S's.
Oh, man. So the 6 having issues. Coming to 1 to green. I think he's still going to shuffle in a line. But, real quickly, give a shout out to your off-axis paint driver profile, Corey Moore, from Richmond, Virginia tonight at age 37. Yet to get a win in this series. He's been close. He's actually a former touring musician. Apparently he's been to 47 of the 50 U.S. states. I don't know if I've heard Corey's music. Have you?
No, I did not know about him, but you know, there's just so many interesting guys in this league. Like, we've been going through these driver profiles all season. It's like each one of these guys has this crazy background that, like, it's just like, wow, like, how do we even find the time to sim race? But Corey, one of those guys that clearly has, you know, quite the resume outside of this Pay RVA being his company as well. So businessman himself on top of everything too.
He's been having a solid night. And he'll keep chugging along here in this one. So, up front is the 44, the 67, the 34, and the 54. A much different race. We're underway. Donaldson nearly jumped Rogers. Donaldson might have a chance for the lead. Side by side for the point as they battle up front of the Van Louis Stickers restart zone. Right now, Rogers trying to hug the inside, clears Donaldson for the point.
Coffee turns the 67. He's going to hit the inside Arco with the right front. Unfortunate for the 67 and Donaldson. He was in position to have a chance to win this race with the mistakes that Bowie and Murray made.
One of the favorites just has the car torn apart. And now, it's a runaway for Rogers up in the front.
Oh, Gallimore just hit the inside wall there, and he's wrecking in the bus stop because of it.
Another slam, and that was one of the main concerns all night, Jeremy. You're offline by a couple feet, that can happen.
Much damage is at 11, but he's going to be, we're green to the end no matter what here. Some mistakes in this stage are literally going to end your race. Somebody else is around there in the back, wasn't quite able to see who that was. A chaotic restart here. That was Greg Carr in the 25. Oh, Bowie has contact with Tim Harper now.
That's in the heart of the field. Let's see this. Bowie's trying to cut through fast. And have you heard of the phrase, trying to work fast, break things? I think these drivers might be living that. Murray's ahead of Bowie right now, but he's at the back door of Garcia, zips to the inside, has to go fast.
Shows just how strong this 22 is. I mean, Garcia's one of the cars we talked all night. Like, that car has pace and just drives right around him. How about William Owens up in the 7th in the 30 car? We haven't really talked about him too much at all tonight. I don't know if he's been in the top 10, and here he finds himself late in the race.
Zach is down trackside. Zach.
Yeah, just hanging out on pit road. Heard some radio chatter from the Dig 2 camp. Braden Donaldson obviously dealing with some heavy damage after hitting the wall there coming out of turn 1. He unfortunately says he's killed the right front, so we'll see how bad the damage is. It looks like he's still driving along right now in 13th. Back up to you guys.
Find out how that's going to go for him as Bowie up to 8th with the cuts on through. Carmichael, who is up in the top 5, by the way, is now your biggest mover in this race. The leaders aren't necessarily breaking away yet. Somehow, Kyle Holden's in 5th.
Yeah, Holden's trying to make me eat my words here. He's running the best he has all night. He's all over that 3 of Carmichael. It's so impressive, Connor Carmichael tonight. I actually think that might have been Holden right there. Just ran the fastest lap of the race from what I just saw on our live timing. So definitely some pretty good pace out of that 97 here all of a sudden.
He's going to make a pass on Carmichael. Carmichael has to let him go. And that made pretty simply and easily. Now it's Holden up to 4th. So Holden, a part of the Aero camp that is a teammate to Carmichael, working his way through, is the fastest car, Donaldson. He's been able to settle back in behind Timothy Harper and William Owens. Owens, for his sake, has had a quiet night. That's a good thing for the 30.
Yeah, definitely a good thing for him. I just heard him on the radio not too long ago, Justin, talking about how he drove the car that hard he would kill himself. Road course is not his thing, but he's held it all and kept it in one piece, hasn't made any mistakes. Oh, that is a tight squeeze by Donaldson up the... How did he make that work? He passed 2 of them.
Oh, and Owens nearly spun out from it. Saved it, though, with the lockout. I think Owens was definitely not expecting a last corner dive. And he's now got rear end damage from the contact.
Board with Donaldson here. Commentator's curse for Owens there, so we do apologize for that, William. But you see, huge run here for the 67. Just swings it all the way to that right side. He didn't really touch the 30 at all, and just got both of them.
Dicey move to say the very least there. And now, as they go, thoughts are going to be quite simple for some of the others here. Where can they attack next? Fenner plays for his sake. Continues to work in the Aero 1 camp. Trying to hold on to his line up in the 3rd spot in front of Holden. Chevy on Chevy battling. Teammate on teammate here. Keep in mind, Rogers and Coffey have already pulled more than a second on a piece of them.
Yeah, they have. You can see on our ticker 2, Murray Bowie already up to 6th and 7th right there between the 2 of them respectfully. So right now, though, Holden's still working on the back bumper of Better Place. You can see off the back bumper of him, not much coming here. Murray comes on to more. Not quite going to get enough of a run to get around him right there, but he's probably going to try to set this up down into the bus stop. Moore's the kind of driver typically would cut Murray a break here, so we'll see if that does come to fruition.
He's got to pick his spots cleanly. Knows he's got the speed, but he just doesn't want to destroy some of the others on the stems. Right now, Holden and his sake of the battle right on ahead. Still no place to go. Coming to 33 to go. A couple people are saving fuel, it's worth noting, at the back of the field noticing. Kenny Real just started clutching coasting to the bus stop. So, as they get sorted out, hold on 1 second. A lot of smoke kicking up in parts of the racetrack here as some of these drivers try and settle in.
See on board here right now, some Owens look right there onto Jim Treat. Barry Sanders, oh, Jim Treat's going to get into him and send himself around. He's going to have to get it wound up and get back to the left. Can't go down pit road and cost himself too much time. Back on board, though, Kyle Holden still cannot find a way around Brandon Fennerplace to the 34.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a box up here for Bowie now. His sake, looks like Moore's going to make it easy for him, though. Yep, backed off early in the break. Don't want to go side by side of the bus stop, risk contact here. And it's all about picking spots for a lot of drivers, but I was about to say...
Oh, Nico Garcia just crashed, and he has left the room.
Oh boy, that's from the top 10. Garcia had gone around right in the tire wake of the 3 and just towed. Again, that's off screen currently, but no cautions obviously tonight.
Another look here at the top of all Hot Sauce Company replay. This is going to be the 8 of Nico Garcia. Down in the bus stop behind Hunter Carmichael. There's Braden Donaldson behind him. We saw his wreck on the initial start of this stage here. So he just got to the curb too much, went for a loop, and literally just killed the sim mid-spin.
Yep, said, you know what, I'm done. If that's the conversation. So now, by the way, Carmichael with that has dropped all the way down from the top 5 to 8th on his descent. Still for 3rd, no change for these drivers. Bowie has already gone into 6th, Murray to 5th. They're within 3 seconds of this battle.
And they're closing in a hurry. Holden still not able to do much of anything with the 34 in better place. I think Holden is showing us some good pace on the stickers, running the fastest lap of the race at one point, but it does not seem that he has that long run pace to hold up, as his attack pace has definitely slowed down. But we're going to go take a quick look at a top of the Hot Sauce Company replay here of that initial wreck on the restart of Braden Donaldson and Alex Coffey.
And remember, this could have been very bad, and some people will say, how did the 67 not spin this? Well, that's how.
Yeah, Coffey just got such a better run through the corner than him, but Donaldson was headed straight and just kind of got ran into there and sent him down into that inside wall. Live look here at that 54 of Coffey. Doesn't look like he got any damage out of that. Still trying to chase down the 44 of Sean Rogers. I don't think if we asked him before the race, Justin, that the 44 would have told us that he'd be leading and controlling the field in the final stage. Oh, and Coffey's around as we go on board in the bus stop. A huge mistake out of the 54. Here come Murray and Bowie to try to capitalize.
How many weeks now are we at the same phrase, Jeremy? 9?
Which phrase is that?
Not again, Coffee? Let's cue it up again, I guess. This time, self-inflicted.
Got the curb good and just a little bit too good on the second curb. Got himself sideways. Did a good job not hitting anything, keeping it straight and keeping it going without losing any more time than he did.
I'm pretty sure the entire fan club for Alex Coffey is sick of hearing those said words. But it's so wild, it just keeps happening. I don't know what else to say other than, what kind of breaks your mindset when you have fast speed, top 5 pace, or race winning pace, and bad luck keeps completely coming into play? I mean, his favorite driver, or his car number, Ty Gibbs, even got a win in the stretch.
I mean, bad luck versus self-infliction, right? I mean, that was on him right there. He just made a mistake on his own and put himself in a bad spot. I don't think you could really call that one misfortune. Obviously, misfortune has been a factor in quite a bit of the occasions you are talking about, but it is a mix of things. When things don't go wrong, he starts to make them go wrong, is what's been happening during the stretch. And it's just so hard to break out of that. You get in your own head and you keep making those kind of mistakes.
Eventually, I think he'll find his way to victory lane. That is not tonight right now. But right now, is Holden trying to figure out, is there a place to get a run on the 34? They're 2 equal at the moment. Last time by, within a 10th of each other on pace. They got to figure out what to do pretty soon, because Sean Rogers is still running 109.6s. By the way, the Murray and Bowie show are in the 109.3s, trying to close up on the hillside. They're going to be here in about a few laps.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. Also, interesting to start talking about the pit window here, Justin. They can make it to fuel from here. Do people want to take tires, split it in half, try to optimize the time with fresh tires? Could we see splash and goes and no tires, considering how close the number is? Could we see 2 tires? It's going to be very interesting to see what these drivers decide to do as we continue to wind down the laps here.
Hearing 5.5 minutes of wheel damage will do. I'm not sure if that's from Mark Sanchez or Barry Sanders saying he's got it. The 88, I think, does. Because Barry Sanders, who's outside the top 10 for his sake, is having a struggle. Look at this, though. Not a struggle for Holden to be able to run this time. At Feather Place says, you know what, take it. Zips on by. That moves him to second. Now, huge test, can hold and close up the Rogers before the pit stop.
Yeah, huge move for him to get that track position. Also even bigger to get that pass done before Murray and Bowie catch him, as now the 34, he will hope impedes those two and allows him to try to gap a little bit more on those fast race cars.
See Murray right now, still laser focused on the close-up. He's already to Feather Place. A little bit of a slow up as they avoid some of the tire dip. We talk about the way the curves can bite you here, Jeremy. One of the things that is not as big in iRacing, but we see in real life, there is that curb dip that some of the drivers have tonight ripped some holes in the grass, if you notice, with some of the lines here. In real life, that can drop off a couple feet.
Yeah, it can definitely drop off quite a bit. So, also more of an effect, based on weather patterns in real life with that as well. Not really so much here in the sim, but still on board here with Alex in the 22. Good look. That was a good onboard lap right there, just to look at what it's like around this racetrack. Look how much he closes up in the braking zone on the 34. That's where he makes so much of his time.
Just really good right now in that part of the racetrack. But as you can tell with all the things being said here on the pylon, we have trouble for William Owens. From a clean first two stages to chaos, the 30 having another spin will lose some more spots. Here's why. Top of Alfonso's company replay.
Take a look here at Owens right there on the inside of Sanders. See what happens here. I think Owens could have been a little bit lower. Barry Crowley could have turned in a little less. Unfortunate send around there for the 30 of William Owens.
Keep in mind, Sanders already said he's got suspension damage. Good job by Davis.
Not a good corner angle there for Owens. He was never really going to make it through there too well. Just too shallow on entry and kind of put himself a straight line through the center.
Brandon Bowie just over the pit window. He is in. Murray, he's trying to make passes on traffic. He might have to come in this time to respond because the 51 is taking his service now, while Murray is stuck side by side.
Murray could also try to stretch this out though, Justin, and do the no tire strategy we talked about. We'll see what he decides to go with here. If he wants to match Bowie with tires, or does he want to go long and take fuel only in a shorter pit stop? It's going to be a really interesting call. The other question is, did Bowie get through this pit cycle without a black flag? Sped under yellow. Did he speed under green or not? We'll see if he comes off clean. It looks like he did not speed.
Rogers, though, has a lot to think about for his sake. His lead, 2 seconds. The gap to Murray, 3.5. Zach Case is standing by. Zach.
Yeah, just watched the pit stop from Brandon Bowie's number 51 machine from Aero, and 4 tires and fuel for the 51 machine. Looked like it was a clean pit stop there. The guys did a great job over the wall, so we'll see how this pit strategy works out in line with the 22 of Alex Murray.
Especially with 25 laps to think about as we take a look at some of the others. There's a battle pack that's formed up with some of those battling around the 18th spot. See some of the drivers like Johnny Shade, who was a Lucky Dog driver earlier. You have Matt Metler there. Jose Medina. Greg Carter having issues in this group, though. He's slow off the corner.
Donaldson, though, in the 67, he's worked his way back up to that 3 of Hunter Carmichael, and that's Corey Moore in front of both of them. Man, that 67 is sliding up those S's out of control. And, I mean, that is not good for rear tires, but he's getting close to that stop, so this is probably when you want to push those tires as hard as you can.
Yeah, he's got to go. He's got to go fast. William Owens just came down pit road, by the way. For Donaldson, looking at least getting a solid finish for his time up the board here tonight. Checking in on Murray. It's under 3 seconds now. He's almost to Holden, who's closed the gap to 1.7 to Rogers.
I don't think Murray's taking tires with running to where he's running now, considering Bowie already pit.
Yeah, right now, there's still 7/10 of fall off. Bowie, for his sake, is currently 39 seconds behind the leader. So that is going to be an interesting amount of distance that has to be still caught up here with 24 laps to go.
good look here for VS as these cars all cut up there. Once again on board Brayden Donaldson. With the same view we had a lap ago through this section of the racetrack, still fighting hard. Hunter Carmichael in front of him, still our biggest mover on the night. An impressive run out of him in the 3, of course, working on the back bumper. That 19 of Corey Moore does seem to have a little bit more pace right now than the 19 as well.
I think so. But right now, the tough thing is getting the chance to build up the run. So difficult. We've already seen tonight them getting a risk of contact. That in mind here as we come up to 23 laps to go for all these drivers here. Heavy lap traffic is going to be a factor for the leaders in the moment. Because here's the thing. Rogers is about to pass by Barry Sanders. You have Real that would be next, and some of the others. Donaldson forced his way through there in the last moments. But you see Real, or rather you'll see Rogers. This traffic going to get very busy in the next 5 laps, if not less. And that's going to be an issue for the 44 when you reach that heavy traffic that's controlling the bus stop.
Yeah, traffic's going to be really hard through the bus stop, of course. The hardest part of the track to get around that lap traffic and then really slow you down and hold you up. Right now, he just has one car right now in the immediate vicinity of him. He's closing in on him. But Rogers has been bleeding time to both Holden and Murray behind him, so he doesn't want to mess around with these lap cars at all. He really wants them to just get out of his way and let him run his race.
Just following along with the head movements here. Pit stops this time. Gallimore, Wilson elected to come down. There were only 17 laps to the run. That makes the interesting timing of the pit stop for Bowie all the more interesting. Because for his sake, Bowie ended up only having about 14 laps of the run. Kyle Holden is in from the front.
Holden headed down pit road right now. Going to be looking for his pit stall opposite here at Watkins Glen of everywhere else we had on the schedule. We pit from the left side of the boxes, pulling into the right, and pit the cars in the opposite direction. Doesn't really have much of an effect in the sim as it does in real life, but it is an interesting thing for a driver still to manage on pit road.
See him taking the tires. Indeed, Corey Moore just came down also. Hearing with the 4 tires and fuel being taken, they'll roll on through. So, there's the traffic management we were just talking about. It's really thick now.
Yeah, suddenly really got really thick. He hasn't even passed it yet. Oh, that's
Mettler.
Way off. He's in the gravel, which is really hard to do when they moved it all the way out there. He's going to carry all that stuff on the racetrack, too. Oh, Rogers almost wrecks it out of the final turn.
Rogers, I think, might have almost gotten to the marbles going to the corner. And Murray got by him. That's for the lead.
That's huge for Alex Murray. He's not going to have to waste any time making that pass. So he's going to, that's so much less time he's going to lose to Bowie having to battle the 44 of Rogers. And I do think the longer Murray goes, the more likely it is he is looking to take no tires and just fuel in that final stop. Otherwise, he'd be giving up too much time to the 51 of Bowie.
So absolute chances for Murray to hold off here, but he's got to have a thought on the interval. Heavy traffic. Real is still saving tire and fuel. I don't know about the 99's plan here because he's already fallen a lap down here.
And I'll tell you what, Murray caught those guys in the most beautiful spot he could have. He didn't get impeded through the bus stop at all and got under them into the carousel. Barely lost anything there getting past those guys.
So, we'll find out how hard Murray pushes forward here. He's going to come in. That's only 20 laps. He's coming in to 20 laps to go. So, here's the test here. Let's go to Zach.
Yeah, you got 2 cars down on pit road right now. It's at 22 of Alex Murray. Sean Rogers also followed him in. We'll start with Rogers here on pit road. He's going to be the first into the box. Down in that 3rd pit stop as you see Matt Cox get away. Rogers missed his pit box though. That's going to cost him some time. He's going with tires. Looks like Murray's fuel and away. So that is the pit strategy right now. Alex Murray going to come off of pit road, fuel only, as Sean Rogers still sits on pit road. And guess who the driver is? right behind him. Brandon Bowie currently sitting P5, it looks like. He's heading up the S's in 2. And we'll see how Bowie tries to reel in that 22 machine of Alex Murray.
So now the distance, it's not that big. Is that going to be enough for Murray to even defend on with the tire difference? That's only 2 seconds for Murray and Bowie.
It's not going to be enough. He did not make the right call here. He tried to do something different. I mean, I think he was in control of the race. He should have just taken the tires and raced them on even tires. But now he has older tires. Obviously, he has a bit of a gap. But Bowie has been faster and he has fresher tires. He is going to cut into that and get to that 22 back bumper. He has 20 laps to do so. And it's just, I would be very, very impressed if Murray holds on to this lead in this situation.
Bowie definitely has the upper hand possibly here. They have Vincent in between the two of them for the time being. Of note, Nigel Christensen has now dissipated from the racetrack. 20 had towed about a minute or so ago. There's Bowie. In terms of his difference, he's only got 19 laps to get to work here. He's already caught up to Vincent. That is a teammate. No, that is a BMP car rather. All while Murray is about to reach Johnny Shade and Matt Cox.
We'll see what he can do. Shade is one of his drivers. He's really going to be looking for him. Shade is going to let him go, so that is what Murray wanted right there. Gets through without any issues with the 45. We take a look back here. Kyle Holden in the 97. He's in the 6th position right now. Just past Chris Davis in the 87. Jim Treat on pit road in the 6th meanwhile.
Taking his scheduled service, that leaves Harper, Davis, Ashwinov, Medina, maybe Catalano, Carr, and Real as those that are not yet to take service. Rogers, for his sake, has a battle with Coffey yet again. This is currently for the 4th position. Coffey, I think at the least is in a decent spot here, but remember, Kyle Holden is also charging.
Brandon Bowie a second faster that last lap than Alex Murray.
Yeah, that's going to be caught up pretty quickly here in a few laps. Not good as you still see that battle box for the time being. Rogers, his tire difference a little bit fresher than the 54s at the moment in this fight.
Yeah, we'll see what that can do for Rogers. Coffey had good pace, made that mistake earlier through this very section of the racetrack, but the 44, as you mentioned, better tires just came off pit road 2 laps ago, so we'll see if he can put that rubber to good use trying to get around the 54 of Alex Coffey and put himself back up to P4.
It's going to take some effort at this rate. The gap between the top 2 on track, because Harper just pit, it's down to about a second. Leaders have compressed together with some traffic in between for now. That's Sanchez ready to move out of the way. And now it's clean track. Bowie ready to go. And he's got so much leeway to do this. About 17 laps to go to the lead on fresher Goodyear Eagles. Now it's the question, will the dirty air be the difference or will the fresher tires be the difference? Look how much Bowie just closed again.
Yeah, on even tires, the dirty air would have been the difference, and Murray should have just responded and made that pit stop. But on older tires, it's not going to matter. Bowie's going to have so much more raw grip out of those tires that the dirty air isn't going to reduce the speed nearly enough.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult for the 22. Mind you, for the time being, by the way, Coffey and Rogers are 9 seconds back of this. So they got a cushion. Whatever happens, they've got at least the top 2 in hand. Murray trying with 16 laps to go to hold off the purple machine. Bowie, the points leader. He's ready to pounce again. A little bit better at corner exit of the 90. They work their way up the hillside.
Tires going to really show themselves through these S's as there's so much speed and so much lateral here, but a little bit sideways there in the 51, so he's going to lose some time down the straightaway, but you'll see once again in the bus stop he's going to close in. He's just able to get so much deeper in the braking zone as he carries more grip through the center.
Yeah, now. Look at how much he's just slipped the car. Here comes Bowie. Gets within a car length and is on the bumper just about. Murray showing cracks.
Just not enough to get to him just yet, but he still closes that gap even with the dirtier. He's going to take a look to the right here into the final turn. Murray's going to pinch him down. They're going to not even lean on each other. Pretty clean move right there by Bowie, and he's going to have him down here in turn 1 unless Murray can pull something crazy out of the hat.
Bowie to the inside. Can he make the pass work? Yes, he does. It's Brandon Bowie to the race lead with about 15 laps to work with. And now he has the chance to hold on and pull away. The points leader looking for win number 5.
It's just not the pit call by Murray there. Went long, took no tires, and you know, honestly, because he went long, he lost all the time he gained with the shorter stop during those extra laps while Bowie was faster on the fresh tires and didn't even come out with much of a gap to defend.
And now the attention turns to third. Because yet again, Rogers, he's still providing some more pressure to Coffey. Does Coffey have the car to hold off the 44 here for another 14 or so laps from this fight?
Yeah, I think this one will be a lot closer of a battle than the one we saw for the lead, but Rogers definitely seems to have a bit of an advantage right now, but Coffey doing a good job defending, but Rogers is going to look for a similar lunge to Bowie there, just not quite be able to do it. Look at Coffey, though, at that shot right there. He's got a brief look at it. He is much more up on his wheel than he was earlier. No, we're frozen in that shot, but he's definitely up on it wheeling right now.
Definitely trying to hustle that race car. Our battle that's close as smoke pops up. Rogers had issues up the hill. Rogers went a little bit more flat line to the curbing, turned a hard right, and lost ground.
Yeah, not the best corner there for Rogers, but he's still going to have time to regroup and try to pull back up to the 54 of Coffey. We're on board with better place back here in the 34, though. He's working off the back of Carmichael. These two battling for 6. They don't really have much potential to pick up anything further than that, as they are 8 seconds off of our 5th place driver in Kyle Holden.
Yeah, for Holden, not bad to come back from what was a spin in the early portions. Carmichael coming back from a penalty is the highest up out of anybody who had penalties tonight coming in. We know how hard that is on a road course to pick up the spots. Tonight, his aero machine, definitely going to be happy about this performance. One of his better drives of the season for that machine. Carmichael, one of the drivers that is not in the postseason conversation with 10 starts, down 32nd as Harper attacks the back.
Side by side there with Catalano there in the 23. Harper was the last car to pit. He was leading when he made his stop, so he has the freshest tires on the circuit right now. He makes that move for 12. Good recovery for Catalano, though, running 13th right now after some of the issues he's had throughout the night in that really good looking race car.
Definitely not bad whatsoever with his pace here. But I think his camera's still frozen. So, at the very least, if he was turning all the way right through the corner, that car would not be running right now.
That would be quite a bit of wheel damage if that's how he was going down the straights too. So, but right now you see Rogers has gotten right back to that back bumper of Coffey, showing he has stronger pace. It's just so much harder to make the pass than it is to get to the guy here, and I think this is really the best example of how hard it is to really get that move done in Watkins Glen.
It's absolutely a challenge, and we've definitely seen it here tonight as we still see how quickly things close up here. Harper, Ashram, Catalano still close. Treat and Owens also closed up amongst those at the back of the lead lap as we come up to the final stretch. And what do you say about a race like this tonight, Jeremy, where, again, no caution that frees the field, all about driver skill set when it comes to road course racing tonight? How do you feel about how things were in turn transpired, if you will, tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I would feel tired behind the wheel. And I talked to at the beginning, this is a long race to keep going and going. So I run some full distance races at road courses, and this one's close to it. And yeah, it's not fun by the end of it. It's not so much like, it's not physically tiring, obviously. Like at the end of the day, we are just, turning a fake little plastic steering wheel, right? But it is mentally draining to sit here hitting marks lap after lap after lap and not really doing much of any racing for a lot of the guys out here too. So still on board Rogers and Coffee. These two are probably two of the most mentally stimulated drivers in the field right now as they battle one another for the final position on our podium.
Still, they're both equal on pace. They're both running around 109 5s and 6s. Interesting enough, they're actually quicker than your race leaders at the moment. But they do have fresher tires. That might be part of that factor, but also, we know how the differences have gone tonight. Rogers also having Coffee to use to chase and follow up marker to marker. That's going to be definitely helpful.
You gotta wonder what Rogers could have done if he didn't make that mistake, though. He's running really good pace right now compared to Bowie. Would have had fresher tires than Bowie. Would have never had the battle of the 54 of Coffee. Didn't make that mistake. Would have stayed ahead of the 22 of Murray as well. So it really could have been something that he may have been able to at least see if he had something for Bowie if he had not made that mistake a few laps before his pit stop.
Corey Moore, by the way, still top 10. Davis is still going after an early stop. He did not take tires, though, when he pit, and that's why Moore's being let go easily here. Davis, I think, just trying to salvage points, has a cushion on everybody else, but has 10 laps to hold on to it.
See a little bit of puff of smoke there, as a little bit of lockup there on that 19 and more. Nothing that's going to harm anything there for him. Davis files in behind Donaldson, closing it up on him for that 9th position now, but after that, Davis does have 11 seconds back to Harper. Rogers is still working on this 54 of Coffee.
Still trying to get to work here. He's running out of time to find a way to go here with the Van Looy Stickers camera. Does he get the bumper out at this point or some point late in the race? Do you see Rogers doing that?
Yeah, for P3, these two don't have the cleanest of history with one another. I definitely would not be the least bit surprised to see it.
Thing is,
He's got to look there, though. Oh.
He's trying. Here we go up the S's. No, not the place to do it. Oh, he might have a run, though, still over the back of Coffee. Now he's on the bumper, indeed. Side by side. Now looking to the inside for the bus stop. No. Is he going to actually? Yes, he will. Rogers turns Coffee.
Oh. Coffee's going to snap it. Oh, he was almost going to snap back and take him out. Got to wonder if Coffee was maybe trying to save it into him. There are some drivers do not the least bit pleased of the look on Alex Coffee's face right there.
Top of Alfonso's company replay after a messy one. Even the others on the radio are joining in. Turned around. Again, a good finish. Turned around. Rogers said he knew he was playing with fire.
I mean, that's a tough one for me because Coffee made the first contact on the bus out there, and Rogers ate the final curve about as much as he could. Coffee was crowding him a lot there.
Yeah, that was a tight spot. We know that's a tight window to try and make a pass in the first place. We've seen in real life that usually gets physical in that section. We've seen why in that previous circumstance. So, that marks, though, Feder Place and Carmichael have compressed. Only coming up to 7 to go for their fight.
Yeah, these two still going at it for P6 right now, and we're not too far behind Coffee, and Coffee just had that slide on his tires, so it's not impossible to think these guys could go up there and maybe get to that 54 to have at least a chance to race for a top 5 finishing position.
Oh, we have trouble. Paul Gallimore just had issues. He is significantly wounded and might tow here. Let's take a look at what happened.
Oh, huge hit there in the S's. Just really a weird angle to get into the wall there. Just made a mistake, and you see the car was sideways there in front of him, and I don't know if it just distracted him or what, but he ended up braking with the tires on the curb and lost control of the race car there.
An end turn throws away a solid day after having to tow it. Better place. Still nothing to do for the 7th spot, trying to move to 6th. Arrow on arrow with less than 7 to go. We'll say in the case of Federer Place, another solid day in the office. Going to pick up a point, at least, or a point spot rather, on Matt Cox at least. Solid day for some of those in that entire team, you can argue here, potentially, as we take a look at Sanders.
Barry here running up on the back of Medina there in that 24. Got a little bit of grass right there. Again, Medina going to have some contact between these two, racing for 13th position. Medina, for all the issues he's had, you know, up in a pretty good spot right now to get some decent points out of the day.
That I can agree with, absolutely.
Oh,
no, and what is going on here? Medina with a scrape, and Medina gets hurt.
I'm not sure what Medina could have possibly been mad about there, but he started just clearly making intentional contact, and he wasn't nowhere to go. But look at this, these two have caught Coffee, Federer Place around Carmichael, and now he's going to try to pick up a spot on the 54 of Coffee.
Yeah, I have no idea what happened in that sequence, but Coffee just trying to stop the bleeding, hold on to 5th at least. Will there be enough tire life in the 54's case? Let's find out here as Federer Place builds the run.
Still looking to get another spot here on Coffee. Coffee's got to be careful too, because he could lose 2 here pretty easily if he's not smart. So right there for turn 1, not quite as fast as the 34. Federer Place got a little loose, but Federer Place not able to quite get side by side here up into the S's. Almost some contact there, though, as Coffee was slow into the S's compared to the 34. Might have even touched just a little bit, and that's going to give Coffee a little bit of breathing room here as they head towards the bus stop once again.
All putting up the fight. As right now, let's find out how this plays out again. This is Carmichael.
Good look on front to him here. So right now, Federer Place all over the back of the 54. Get a good look here off the back of Coffee now at that 34 car. Coffee, you see him looking in the mirror right there. He's mirror driving a little bit down the straightaway, trying to keep tabs on what's happening behind him. No run yet for Federer Place, but he gets a huge run into the center of the corner. Almost gives a shot to the 54. He's going to try to look up the inside, but can't do it. He's going to back it off and get the run down the front straightaway.
Here we go with the dive. Coffee under attack late. 4 laps to go from the Glen. He's got a chance to get the power on the outside. Will he hold on to the corner? Yes, he will. First offense held back. Setup once again for Federer Place up the hillside.
Surprise Coffee held on to the positioning right there, but these guys all over him right now. He's driving for everything. Alex Murray just crashed in the bus stop. The 22 is around.
Alex Murray, who had 2nd place in the bag, has issues going to the bus stop, and it's like Coda all over again. The 22 with heavy damage, and now trying to hold on to 4th.
See heavy damage on the front of that race car. It's going to affect him quite a bit with the long straightaways here at Watkins Glen and the very aero-sensitive corners. We'll see what that can do. Oh, Sean Rogers just almost crashed himself on the front straightaway now. They're all trying to throw away for finishes.
And just right there, snapped it loose. right into the barrier. He's losing a second a lap. He might be at risk of losing fourth here from that hit.
He's got way too much curve right now, though. We're back live. Feder Place and Coffee side by side, still battling for this position. And Carmichael's going to go around now. They're still side by side, though. They touch into the S's. And Feder Place finally gets the better of Alex Coffee.
Just like that, Feder Place into the top 5. Coffee looking to think about a send back, nothing doing. Coming to 2 laps to go. Now, here's the huge part. Will Feder Place now get to Murray here and take away another spot, take some more points as you see Coffee chatting on the radio.
You have to imagine he's got a good shot against Murray with all that damage and the tire situation on the 22 car. Feder Place is going to be trying to go get that, holding up the P3 through all of this, kind of snuck his way up into a podium now with the mistakes of others, and Rogers the P2.
Couple laps to go. Bowie well in control. Coffee on the struggle bus now with the heavy damage to the motor. He's running 112s with the heavy damage. Bowie, though, he's coming up towards 1 to go already. The one machine. Yeah, it's going to be towards the end for Wilson and Sanders. This is 13th and 14th, both with heavy damage. Bowie force the issue on them, or does he just let them fight?
Yeah, he has no reason to put himself in a bad spot here, so we'll see if he plays nice. I imagine he would, and it does look like that is what he's going to do. There's no reason to risk putting himself in a situation with these two while they're battling for position.
Coming up towards the final time around, 1 to go. Coming up, brought to you by League Gaming. There's the white flag. It's out for Bowie. And Bowie has a 7-second cushion. He's already backing it up. Not going to force it to get around the 88 and the 18, and as well as the 25 a car.
Yeah, wise decision here for Bowie in the 51. As we come up the S's for the final time, we'll get a look back here. Feder Place has gotten around Murray, excuse me. Coffee, though, is going to look to do the same off the back of that 22 who's bleeding positions. But now Bowie's going to try to pass the 18 of Wilson into the bus. I mean, he thinks better of it. You know, if there was a spot not to do it, it was definitely there. He does back out of it.
Bowie now marches his way through the final corners. Tonight it was between him and Murray. They went back and forth, blow to blow. But in the end, it was Bowie that decided to bolt on new tires with an early pit stop. And those new Goodyear Eagles soared up in front. Final turn for Brandon Bowie for the 5th time this season. Car 51 will go to Victory Designs Victory Lane. Bowie will take the win of the Glen. The season winner in victories continues to build up. The leader builds up 5 now.
Just another absolutely dominant performance in the 51 machine. I would say he didn't put a wheel wrong all night, and it would be true, but he did make a mistake in pit road, but he was still able to recover from that and come home with another victory. They're running out of room for stickers on that car.
I think once you get to double digits, I think that's a concern. But for now, add as many as you want. But it's the 51 that was able to fly and get up to the front. Some of the drivers come in, congratulate him. Arrow again gets the job done tonight on the racetrack. We'll say this conversation pops up on the radio here, Jeremy. 51 definitely had some fun here tonight. He's definitely going to have some fun celebrating as Kyle Holden looks to join him. A 1-3 for the team.
A good finish there for Holden for sure. You know, he talked about it a lot earlier. I just was kind of surprised by the lack of pace there, but he put it together in the final stage and drove it all the way up there to a top 3 finish.
Don't forget, Feder Place 2 got a 4th place, so technically 1-3-4 for Arrow. Front of the field. But it's a trip to Victory Designs Victory Lane for the 51. is your winner of the Impact Sim Designs 200 at the Glen. It's Bowie on top. Nice little burnout, if you will, for the 51 tonight. He was able to come away with 33 laps led. Murray led 29. Outside of that, Rogers led 18. Timothy Harper got 2. Almost running out of smoke to kick up here, Jeremy.
Yeah, he's burning it down in both directions, going back and forth straight down the front stretch. He's going to head back towards the upper end of pit road now, so he's taking this one in, and there goes the engine. So that'll be it, and we'll be right back after a quick break, Justin, with post-race coverage.
Welcome back to tonight's coverage of the Moonshiners Racing League and the GMD Janitorial Cup Series. The Impact Sim Designs 200 at the Glen unofficially looks like this. Bowie gets the win. It ends up being 4.4 seconds over Rogers. Holden on the podium as well. Speak with them soon. Brandon Fetter plays Alex Coffey in the top 5 with Murray in 6th after a crash into the barrier. Carmichael Moore, along with Donaldson and Harper, all get top 10s.
First car to miss out on top 10 tonight, Chris Davis in 11th on a little bit of an alternate strategy. Ryan Catalano finishes where he qualified. Good recovery there to finish back up in 12th. Wilson and Sanders, they had a tight battle for 13th to finish our cars on the lead lap after Bowie did not decide to lap those cars at the end. And then Jim Treat finishes the first car one lap down in 15th, followed by William Owens, Trevor Azranoff, Mark Sanchez, Kenny Real, and Jose Medina in the 24 rounds out the top 20.
21st goes the way of Greg Carr with Johnny Shea 22nd, Gallimore and Cox 23rd, 24th, Christensen in 25th with Metler in 26th. Nick Kane was an early DNF 27th, along with Garcia, Cornette, and Hochschild a part of those out. We also had Chris Vincent out of the race. He ended up being 76 down on the boards. So on that note, we'll go 3, 2, 1 on the order here tonight. Zach is standing by with 3rd. That's Kyle Holden.
Yeah, thank you, JP. Standing down here with Kyle Holden out on pit road, the 97 machine, finishing P3 tonight here at the Glen. Kyle, a good run for you here in stage 3. How did you pick up the pace there in the final stage?
Honestly, it was a mess of a race for us. We made so many mistakes. We missed the start. Someone was talking on the radio, and I was trying to pay attention to what they were saying, doing admin things, and then I missed the start, so we had to start all the way in the back, and we had some fun driving through the field. It was pretty fun, but then we spun a couple times and then got ourselves speeding, so I had to fall all the way back again. Luckily, we were able to start, I think, around P5-ish for the restart on the final stint there. We held our spot pretty well, got up to, I think, to P3 or P2, fighting for the lead, trying to get up to Sean, so I pit a little bit early and tried to get 4 tires because I knew I was going to need them in order to gain any time on them. And unfortunately, we just did the same thing we did earlier in the race and spun it over the curbing out of 1, and kind of ruined our chances at getting a spot for winning the race there. But we'll take home P3 with that terrible performance we had.
I mean, not that bad for a P3 finish with some of the mistakes you might have had tonight, but you talk about the pit strategy there in stage 3. We saw some guys stay out, only taking fuel. You obviously came in, took 4 tires. Was that the plan all along, or was that based on where you were running at the time?
It was mainly going to be how long I was able to stay out, and since I ended up spinning and had to kind of burn my tires a little bit to gain that time back, I ended up having to take 4. Otherwise, I might have taken 2 and stayed out just a tad bit longer to hopefully get some positions at the end.
I mean, overall, Brandon Bowie, obviously the winner tonight, your teammate here at the Aero Camp. Was there any conversation with the 51 machine heading into tonight? We know his success so far on the road courses so far this season.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit of strategy and kind of maybe what to do in certain situations, but ultimately it just ends up being what situation you get yourself in of what you got to do. So just be aware of what you're doing and kind of follow the rules of what he gives you.
Yeah, heading into the next race, we obviously go to the All-Star race here at Charlotte. Then we have the Charlotte race after that for the points-paying race. What's your game plan going back to the 1.5 miles?
Love the 1.5 miles. I'm always pretty good at them. Hopefully this time we qualify and stay up front. That'd be a treat for once. But you never know what's going to happen there too. Everyone's pretty good at Charlotte since it's a free track. So expect everyone to be pretty decent, but pretty good at the 1.5 miles. So I'm hoping to do okay there.
Anyone you want to thank tonight, Kyle?
Just huge shout out to SimRat Market always for being on the car. Always head over there for any paint needs. They got a bunch of templates that you can use to quickly make any sheams that you want for all the cars on iRacing. Huge shout out to Impact Sim Racing or Sim Designs for sponsoring this race. Head over there to get any paints that if you don't want to do it yourself. We do awesome work. And then huge shout out to Barry and all the admins for putting up with us. And huge shout out to GMD for putting on the league, sponsoring us, and huge shout out to all the other sponsors.
Well, thank you, Kyle. The 97 machine finishing P3 here tonight at the Glen, and we'll see you next time at the All-Star race.
Appreciate it.
Back up to you guys.
That was Kyle Holden down in the 3rd spot here tonight. As 2nd spot, Sean Rogers is with Jeremy.
Sean, that's probably one of the better runs I've seen out of you on a road course. I think you probably got to be pretty happy with that. But I do have to ask, you made a little bit of a mistake right before that final stop to put you in some traffic that you otherwise wouldn't have had to deal with. Do you think that could have made enough of a difference to at least had a chance to go up there and fight Bowie?
No, I don't think so. He had a much faster car than I was, so credit to him. He was blazing fast. I did slide through my box there in that last stop, so that really sucked. I think that's what ended up putting me behind Coffee and putting me in 3rd. But all in all, it was a good race. I had a decently fast car thanks to the guys at TWRS, so can't complain coming home with a 2nd.
Yeah, you mentioned being behind Coffee there. It was a great battle. We watched it for quite a while. Not an easy pass for you to make. We saw the contact through the bus stop. Looked like pretty much just simple hard racing to me. He made a little bit of a mistake and initiated some contact and put you into the curb. What was it like from your perspective?
Yeah, I was working on that. I felt like I was a little bit quicker than he was, but it's just so hard to pass. You have to plan it out. And he slipped a little bit coming out of the S's, and I did not want to do it in the bus stop just because I know how tight it is, but that was one of my best opportunities I had at him, so I decided to take it. And I went and looked at it, and yeah, just like you said, I tried not to get into him. I think we both, did our best to stay off of each other, but that's just really tight. I apologized to him over the radio and everything. So, obviously I didn't mean to wreck him. I wanted to pass him clean. I even told him I didn't want him to do it like that. But yeah, it's just hard racing. And that, hopefully, he didn't seem too pissed off about it. So all should be good there. That's just racing.
I definitely don't think there was much you could do there, but I did mention it. I've seen I think quite a bit of improvement out of you on the road courses. I would assume you probably feel the same way. What have you done to work on that? Just get better at this discipline of racing and just pull better results out of places like Watkins Glen than I think you've seen historically.
I have definitely been getting better. I'm decent in road racing, and road design cars. So some of that, starts to bleed over at a certain point. But I won the Roval last year, so that was my first ever actual road win in this Cup car. So it's just been a steady improvement. I'm getting better each time. And the Glen is a place that I was good at, even before I started to get a little better. So it's just something that, I've been working on a lot, and it's starting to pay dividends, and we're running a little better.
Definitely want to congratulate you on another solid run, and who helps you put it all together out here on the track in the 44 every week?
Shout out to all my teammates at BMP. Good group of guys. We're always helping each other out, pushing each other. Shout out to the guys at TWS, especially Kenny and Bikey, for kind of holding everything together. Shout out to Icon Apparel, my sponsor. They have great products. They sent me a couple stickers and some hats and some shirts. So great products. So definitely look into them. I believe they are a title sponsor on some of our races here. And then shout out to Barry putting on this league. It's a lot of fun to come out here every Wednesday night and battle with these guys. And to you guys put on a hell of a broadcast. It's always a good time to go back and rewatch the day after.
Thank you for putting on a good show as always, Sean. We'll definitely see you running up front some more.
Yep, thanks, guys.
And that was Sean Rogers, our second place finish tonight, but I believe Justin has caught up with our winner in Victory Lane, Brandon Bowie.
Yes, indeed. It's another trip to Victory Design's Victory Lane for the 5th time this season. It's the 51 who gets the win. Brandon, how would you describe this win back-to-back tonight?
Oh, man. That was a hard race to win. I will say that. That was, as I'm trying to recap everything in my head, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. I feel like me and Murray just battled the hell out of each other. But we kept it clean and, had a lot of fun with that. Then trying to get through lap traffic was on a whole nother level of trying to, make up time, but not burn up the tires. So, as you can tell, I'm still kind of out of energy on this one because this was a hard fought one. But, man, I don't know. This was a hard race. This is all I got.
Definitely seemed like that here in this one. So what was kind of going through your mind, though, in the situation where you had the tire strategy difference? What was going through your mind with the very early pit call to come in only about not even 10, 15 laps in?
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of, my original background is road course, like GT3s and GT4s, stuff like that. So one of the rules, not really rules, but one of the things I've kind of learned over time was, if you're, racing around people, whatever, and you get stuck behind people that's hard to pass, then if you're in your pit window, you pit. And I had the opportunity, and I was like, well, I don't think he is going to pit here, so I'm going to do it. So I went as aggressive as I could be, took the tires, and just prayed that I would get some clean track. And for the most part, I got a ton of clean track. But I still wasn't sure if I was going to be able to really, like, what Murray's strategy was. Because, well, he could take 2. If he takes 4, I think he's going to lose out. So it was either going to be, I just thought he was going to take 2. And he came out of pit road, and I was like, okay, he's 3 seconds ahead of me. Let me see what we got. Because I wasn't really sure how the 2-tire thing would work because I'm thinking he took 2 tires, and come to find out, he didn't take any tires. But in that mindset, I'm just thinking, man, I don't want to get too close to him because I don't know if he might self-spin or he might get really tight in the corner. So I kind of just took my time just to kind of see, what his car would do. And it just slowly but surely, I started to kind of reel him in. I was like, okay, he's kind of falling off. So I got to attack, and I just got to go. Because, again, I know Rogers was fast, and Holden was fast. Better Place was fast as well. So I knew there was a couple guys that, if I got held up too long, that they might actually catch me. But, yeah, it was just, once I got out front, I was good. And then there at the end, it was 2 guys battling. I tried to make a pass. They hit a huge block on me, and I just said, it ain't worth it. So I backed out and kind of just coasted to the win. But, yeah, man, that this race was absolutely wild. Would love to do it again, but I am definitely spent right now for sure.
That in mind, how do you feel about the All-Star race coming up next week?
Yeah, the All-Star race. Unfortunately, it's another mile and a half. Kind of been struggling a little bit on those tracks. Gonna probably have to go a little bit back to the drawing board to kind of figure out what I need to do as a driver to be able to compete with Coffee and Murray and that whole team. I mean, when it comes to the mile and a half, man, they just have raw speed, and I feel like I am having to play catch up, and I need strategy to kind of make things work. So I don't know. I mean, we'll definitely see how things shake out. I'm optimistic about what we can bring to Charlotte, but I'm going to be cautiously optimistic on that. Definitely going to give it my all, but, I know that I got to, race up against some really, really fast guys. So we will I like Charlotte, but we'll have to see what we bring to the track next week.
Any other shout-outs you'd like to give here tonight?
Yeah, of course, got to give a shout-out. First, I want to give a shout-out to everybody that raced tonight. It was fun racing everybody. Everybody raced me clean, raced the leaders clean from what I can see. So shout out. I know everybody doesn't really like road courses, but shout out to everybody that did it. I mean, they did a hell of a job from my view. Thanks you guys for the broadcast, of course. You guys do an amazing job. Just keep up what you guys are doing. I think Barry, Team Arrow, of course. We finished pretty good this for tonight. I think a couple of us could have got a little bit better, but it's just kind of just chipping at it every week in and week out. Got a shout out to Mamba Mamacita, which is the Kobe Bryant charity. Check them out. If you're interested, donate to them. They do a heck of a cause to the boys and girls out there that want to get into sports. Premier setups, fast setups every week. And the last 2 weeks have kind of shown that. So I'm really, really proud to be part of that team. I think family, and I think that's it.
Congratulations to the run here tonight.
All right, thanks.
Brandon Bowie rounds our post-race interviews. I'd like to congratulate him on his trip to Victory Designs, Victory Lane, and everyone for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on Precision. Next time out, we go All-Star Rising and Racing. That'll be Wednesday, May the 20th, as we shine brightly at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 8 p.m. start time. Catch that here once again on Precision. But Jeremy, your final thoughts on tonight is in the end, it's Bowie who adds to the win category.
Yeah, it's just a long-winded race, right? Only 2 little breaks in there from stages, and just a lot of competitive driving for a long time. Those guys winded after that one, and their mouths hanging wide open probably. So long race, good hard racing. Saw some mistakes out of some of our top contenders. Murray once again stepped on it, so no, I'll hear it for saying that. But it's a great show, and congratulations once again to Brandon Bowie on another victory.
Well, let you deal with that aftermath. I know you have to deal with him, but it's been an interesting night to say the very least here, and I will say, it's going to be the question, can anybody stop the momentum we've seen from Brandon Bowie? That's the question I think on everybody's mind by the time we get to after the All-Star break also. But on that note here, as we get ready to rise on forward, I'll throw it to you, Zach. What do you have to add to say before we sign off tonight?
I mean, overall, we saw 2 guys that were really the class of the field here, road course racing at Watkins Glen. I don't got much to add. I know we talked about the pit stops already and the pit strategy that affected Alex Murray and Brandon Bowie, but overall, I think I'm going to go find a nice bonfire out in the campsite grounds and have some fun. So I'll see you guys in Charlotte here in a week, and I hope you guys have a good time getting down there.
Absolutely. On that note here, everybody, we'll take the time to say goodbye. I'd like to thank you for tuning in for tonight's coverage of the Moonshiners Racing League and the GMD Janitorial Cup Series for this evening's running the Impact Sim Designs 200 at the Glen. For my co-announcer, Jeremy Miller, for our social media man and Zach Case, for producer Ryan Bauer, using cameras provided by Whiplash Sim Cams, I'm Justin Prince saying so long Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching tonight's coverage of Racing from the Glen, where Bowie wins his 5th. We'll see you next time for the All-Star Race from Charlotte.
Knuckle grip in the neon light, trading pain in the heart of the fight. Shifting gears till the edge feels right. Start 'em up, hear the engines cry. Let the thunder roll, leave no doubt. All or nothing when the checkers come out. Doors beating doors in an all-out fight. This is a Moonshiners Wednesday night. Wednesday night. Legends born in the heat of the fight. Trading pain under stadium lights. Racing roots run deep here. We're racing on a Moonshiners Wednesday night. Every track has a story to tell. Every wall has been one driver's hell. Back in the saddle we go. Ring the bell like a moonshiner. We're riding on rails. Checkers on record. Send it in, set sail. Legends born in the heat of the fight. Trading pain under stadium lights. Racing roots run deep here. We're racing on a Moonshiners Wednesday night. This is a Moonshiners Wednesday night. This is a Moonshiners Wednesday night. This is a Moonshiners Wednesday night. Oh. This is a Moonshiners Wednesday night.